Hi everyone and welcome back to the BPD blog web show. Today we're going to be discussing early warning signs that people are having a BPD attack. You would feel anxiety, nervousness, forgetfulness, inability to experience pleasure, lack of motivation, feeling slowed down or speeded up, avoiding doing things on your daily list, being uncaring, avoiding others or isolating, being obsessed with something that doesn't matter, beginning irrational thoughts and patterns, feeling disconnected from your body, increased irritability, increased negativity, increased smoking, increased gambling, not keeping appointments, depression, anger, stressed out, spending money excessively, being very impulsive, poor coordination with no physical reason, aches and pains, dizziness, muscle cramping, excessive sweating, feelings of discouragement, hopelessness, substance abuse, passing exits on the highway, failing to buckle your seatbelt, not answering the phone, overeating, undereating, weepiness, compulsive behaviors, feeling worthless or inadequate, secretiveness, controlling or manipulative behaviors, being too quiet, easily frustrated, feelings of abandonment or rejection, craving illicit drugs or alcohol, feeling compelled to take too much pain medication. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have felt these signs in different ways more than once. Like right now, as I'm speaking to you, I want to light up a cigarette because I feel agitated. Because I called my doctor and I'm waiting for him to call me back to let me know what my test results are. And I hate waiting. Waiting drives me crazy and can send me into a BPD attack in no time. And ridiculously, it can literally make you feel like, oh my God, when is it going to end? Like, and you have no control. You're literally so mind boggled that things could get so confusing. I think my worst BPD attack was on July 23rd. I was crying, I was yelling, I was screaming, and a demon like voice came out of me that I myself had never even heard in me. And the strange part is that I was like, oh my God, like I literally sound crazy. And I knew I wasn't crazy because I knew I was sick. But I had this stigmatizing feeling that it just was so overwhelming. I didn't know what to do anymore. Should I fight? Should I just lay down and let it happen? And then I made a really bad decision. I fought with a guy that I was dating, that I am no longer currently dating. And I fought with my ex best friend, whom I cared about a lot and looked at like my sister, but she couldn't understand my disorder, nor could my ex boyfriend. They couldn't understand why I was the way that I was, how I was the way that I was, and anything to that sense. I was all alone that day, and I probably should have called someone. Yes, I probably should have called someone. As you're going to see, I'm lighting a cigarette from nerves. I probably should have called someone, and I chose not to. I chose to take the long, bad road, and I chose to sit there and cry. And my biggest mistake was choosing to call up my ex that hurt me more than anything in this world and have him come here thinking talking to him was going to make me feel better. And it only made me feel worse because it only reminded me of the times when we were together and things that we shared that I didn't share with anybody else, and the things that I would never share with anybody else that I shared with him. And it hurt. It hurt deep within my head, and I felt it hurt deep within my heart because I felt broken that day. And I felt like there was no way anyone was going to be able to repair me. And it is the world's worst feeling to feel out of control and like you can't do anything about what's going on. And what ended up happening was I decided to dump out all of my pills. Now I'm sick with a lot of things. I have a stomach problem. I have a anxiety problem. I have a depression problem. I have trigeminal neuralgia. I have chronic asthma. I have a lot of things wrong with me. I have severe acid reflux and ulcers. I have the beginning stages of COPD. It's just like so much. And it's like, I'm 24 years old. Like, I don't need this and I don't want to deal with it. And it was like, oh my God, like, why are you giving me everything, God? And then I remembered something someone once told me. God wouldn't give you anything that he thought that you couldn't handle. And in my mind, my reaction to that was, I wish he didn't trust me so much. Because if he didn't trust me so much, he wouldn't be handing me all these things. He would be giving them to someone else. And I was literally angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at my mother and my father because they created me and gave birth to me, and I was mad at them thinking that it was their fault that I was sick. I didn't want to leave the house, and I felt stigmatized to the fact that I thought that people were looking or staring at me every time I was out, and that they knew that I had a disorder. But the funny part is I didn't wear a sign that said, "Hi, my name is Joey Lee Dryer and I have bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder." I didn't wear a sign that said that. However, I felt like I did wear a sign that said that, which caused me to barely leave the house. And when I did leave the house, I'd have to go with someone. And when I left the house, I would prefer it was nighttime because there were less people out. I stopped doing things that I enjoyed completely, like watching TV and watching movies. And I'm a big movie collector and a big TV collector of my shows that I like and my movies that I love to watch. And I just kept saying, it'll blow over, it'll get better. And the more I said that to myself, the more funk I got into and the worse things got. And the more I felt like, oh my God, I'm I'm really bad. So it turns out on July 23rd, I was home alone and by myself. And I had seen my ex, like I said, which was a big mistake. I came upstairs and I started hysterically crying and asking myself, what happened to my life? Why are things the way that they are? How could it have possibly gotten this bad? How could I have let it get this bad? And before I knew it, I dumped out my pills that I take for various different conditions that I've been on for a very long time and started mixing and matching pills. And I just kept popping them one right after the other. And before I knew it, I just said, you know what? I took enough. So I thought, anyway. I didn't want to feel. At that moment, I don't think I was really sure of what I did because I wasn't comprehending because my brain was so erratic and so was my body and my responses that I didn't even realize what I was doing. And it just so happened that I happened to call my mother because despite the fact that I was angry at everyone, I knew if I didn't call my mother and tell her I loved her, and I never got the chance to again, and I died, that not only would I feel horrible, but she would feel horrible too. It turns out that when I called her, I ended up falling back first into the bathtub. And I told her I was okay. I wasn't okay. The pills had started to kick in, and I dropped the phone. And she could no longer hear me or get in touch with me. Her and my father flew in from Staten Island. I don't think my father's ever driven that fast to come home to find me in the bathtub. My mother and my father helped me out and sat me up in a kitchen chair, and I couldn't even sit up straight, and it hurt terribly. I don't remember half the things that went on. My dad refuses to talk about it, and my mom gets so emotional that till this day she still wonders if I'm ever going to do something like that. And the sad part is being a borderline and a bipolar person, I can't promise her that I won't. I can promise her that I will try not to, but I can't promise her that I won't. When I got to the hospital, luckily I was really lucky. They told me that had my parents found me 5 minutes later, I would have gone into cardiac arrest and I could have died. They didn't have to pump my stomach. They just kept flushing me out with fluids. I slept for 16 hours. That's how much medication I took. And then they sat and they told me, "Are you aware that you took 56 pills?" And I said, "No, I wasn't counting. I was just taking them and I wasn't counting an ounce." They put me in the psychiatric unit in Maimonides Hospital to try and find out why I had done what I did. And I told them because I was in pain, because I couldn't take the pain, because I didn't want to live anymore, because I felt like my life had no more meaning and no more purpose. All these early warning signs I gave to you were signs that my parents saw. My mother herself saw them. The problem was that she didn't listen to her gut, and she felt guilty after that. But despite the fact that she is my mother and I love her with all my heart, it wasn't her place to save me. Only I can save me. And day by day, I'm trying to save me. It's not easy, it's hard, it's a fight constantly, it's a battle to get out of bed, it's a battle to take a shower, it's a battle to fight to be who I used to be. But you know what's funny? I don't remember who I used to be. And I don't even know if I want to be that person anymore. I haven't been who I used to be in ages. So it's like, you wonder sometimes if starting new and fresh is better than going back to what's old and comfortable. So I don't want to go back to what's old and comfortable. I want to go back to what's new and fresh because this should be a new beginning. Not just for me, for anyone who's been through what I've been through. It should be a new beginning and a new start for you. And you should want to fight and you should want to change things. And you should want a new beginning of your life and not your old life back because your old life is filled with pain and hurt and anger and deceit and deception and secrets and lies, and that's not the life that you want. You want a new life. You want to invent yourself in a new way, which is exactly what I'm doing. And I hope all of you will do the same. I hope this video was helpful. It's very easy for me to talk about my life to people because I think my experiences can help other people regain sight into their own experiences and feeling better. Until next time, my name is Joey Lee Dreyer, and this is my borderline personality vlog web show, and I will see you soon with another show. Thank you.